Hi everyone! It's finally spring and I thought another spring themed crochet video would be fun to do. I've done I think 3 so far, and I think it's cool to see how many projects I can think of each year for spring. So for this year I did 2.5 projects, and I say 2.5 because 2 of them share the same pattern. They're just used in a different way. Before we get started though, I wanted to take a quick moment to thank Blueland for sponsoring this video. I've been trying my best to live more sustainably by shopping secondhand, making my own clothes, and since spring is officially here, I wanted to invest in more sustainable cleaning products, and one of the ones I've been using recently is from Blueland, which is the sponsor of today's video. Blueland's products were made to eliminate single-use plastic packaging from our everyday products. Their products are naturally derived and are sourced with ingredients without parabens, ammonia, phosphates, and are hypoallergenic with ingredients that are non-GMO and vegan-friendly. The packaging is completely compostable and uses no single-use plastic in any component. And thankfully, their cleaning products are affordable as well, which is a huge plus. The refill tablets start at $2.25, and if you want to save even more, they do offer subscription plans on the refill tablets, which are customizable and easy to set up so that you don't run out of the supplies you use the most in your cleaning. I've been using Blueland since December, and sponsorship aside, I do truly love their products and how they are incredibly transparent about where they source their ingredients. I personally have the Clean Essentials Kit, which consists of tablets for hand soap, glass cleaner, multi-surface cleaner, and bathroom cleaner, along with the bottles for each as well. To use the cleaning tablets, all you have to do is pour warm water into the bottle, drop your tablet in, wait for it to dissolve, add your nozzle back on, and get to cleaning. To get 15% off of your first Blueland kit, all you have to do is use the link on the screen or click the link in the description box below. Thank you again to Blueland for sponsoring this video. To start on the cherry blossom granny square, first create a magic circle. After, you're going to chain 3, which counts as 1 double crochet plus a chain. For the first row, you're going to work 1 double crochet into the middle of the circle. After, chain 1 and work another double crochet into the magic circle. You're going to repeat 1 chain and 1 double crochet until you have a total of 10 double crochets, which includes the chain. After you reach 10 double crochets, pull the magic circle tail to close the gap in the middle. Then chain 1 and slip stitch into the first stitch of the row. Slip stitch down the stitches until you reach the chain gap. To start the second row, first attach your light pink yarn to the chain gap. In the same gap, you're going to add 1 single crochet. After the single crochet, chain 1, and then in the next gap, add 1 double crochet. After, chain 1 and add another double crochet. Lastly, chain 1 again and add 1 more double crochet into the same gap. After, chain 1 and work a single crochet into the next gap. You're going to repeat this all around, working 3 double crochets into the next chain gap, making sure to chain 1 after each double crochet. After the set of double crochets, chain 1 and work a single crochet into the next gap. Repeat this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you should end after a 3 double crochet section. Slip stitch into the first stitch of the row. For row 3, with the same yarn in the next gap, add 1 single crochet. Then in the next gap, add a half double crochet. Then chain 1. After, on the tip of the middle double crochet from the previous row, add 1 double crochet, a chain 3, a slip stitch, another chain 3, and then 1 double crochet all into the same stitch. Afterwards, chain 1, and in the next gap, add 1 half double crochet. Then in the next gap, add 1 single crochet. You're going to repeat these same steps until the end of the row. So again, first work 1 single crochet into the next gap stitch. Then in the next gap, add 1 half double crochet. After, chain 1, and in the tip of the middle, double crochet from the previous row, work 1 double crochet, a chain 3, a slip stitch, another chain 3, and then another double crochet all in the same stitch. Then chain 1 and work a half double crochet into the next gap. After, work a single crochet into the next gap. Repeat this for the rest of the row. At the end of the row, slip stitch into the space, chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull to secure. For row 4, first take your green yarn and create a slip knot. Then yarn over with the green yarn and insert your hook into the space between the 2 petals. After, yarn over and pull through. Pull through 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and insert your hook into the space again. Yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through 2 again. Do this 1 more time. After, you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to complete a cluster. After, chain 3. In the top of the petal, you're going to make 1 single crochet. After, chain 3 and work a single crochet into the next petal. Then after, chain 3 and work a cluster into the space in between the petals. So yarn over, insert your hook into the space, yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through 2. Next, yarn over and insert your hook into the space again, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pull through 2. Repeat this 1 more time. After, you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. You're going to repeat these steps for the rest of the row. At the end of the row, chain 3, slip stitch into the first stitch of the row, chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull to secure. For row 5, first create a slip knot, then add 2 double crochets into the gap next to the green cluster. After, chain 2 and add 2 more double crochets into that same gap. In the next gap after the cluster, add 1 double crochet and 3 half double crochets. In the next gap, add 3 single crochets and then 1 half double crochet. Then add 2 half double crochets and then 2 double crochets in the next gap. Then in the next gap, make sure it's after a green cluster, add 1 double crochet and then a chain 2 and then 3 more double crochets in the same gap. In the next, add 2 half double crochets and then 1 single crochet. In the next after that, add 2 single crochets and then 2 half double crochets. In the next, add 1 half double crochet, then 3 double crochets. Chain 2, and then in the next gap, add 3 double crochets and then 1 half double crochet. In the next, add 2 half double crochets and then 2 single crochets. Then after, add 1 single crochet and 3 half double crochets in the next gap. In the next, add 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and then 1 double crochet. In the next gap, add 2 double crochets and 2 half double crochets. In the next, add 1 half double crochet and 3 single crochets. In the last gap, add 3 half double crochets and 1 double crochet. Then slip stitch into the first stitch. For row 7, first chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. Then in the chain space gap from the previous row, work 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. In the stitch right next to the gap, which is a little bit hard to see, work 1 double crochet into it. Then chain 1. You're going to skip the next stitch and then work into the next 3 stitches after that with 1 double crochet into each. Then after the 3 double crochets, you're going to chain 1 and repeat skipping the next stitch and working 1 double crochet down in the next 3 stitches. After, chain 1 and repeat this again. After that, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and then work 1 single crochet into the stitch after. Now repeat everything from the beginning of the row until now, which was 2 double crochets, then a chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets into the corner gap. After, work into that hard to see stitch with a double crochet, then chain 1, skip the next stitch, and work 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Repeat this 2 more times. After, repeat all these steps until the end of the row. At the end of the row, slip stitch into the first stitch of the row, then slip stitch until the corner space. For row 7 and 8, all you have to do is attach your yarn to the corner gap space and then chain 2. The chain 2 counts as 1 double crochet. Then work 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets all into that same space. After, with no chaining, work 3 double crochets into the middle gap space. When you reach the corner sections, work 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 double crochets all in that same space. Here's what rows 7 and 8 look like after completion. They were worked the exact same way, the only difference is that I changed the color. For row 9, you're going to do the same exact thing as row 7 and 8, but instead of double crochets, you'll be doing treble crochets. So in the first gap space, chain 3, which counts as your first treble crochet. Then work 2 more treble crochets, then a chain 2, and then 3 more treble crochets into that same space. Then repeat the steps the same as rows 7 and 8. Row 10 is worked the same as row 7 and 8 with double crochet. For row 11, first work a chain 2 into the corner space, which counts as a double crochet. Then work 2 double crochets into that space, a chain 2, then 3 more double crochets. After, all you're going to be doing for the sides is working 1 double crochet into every single stitch, starting from the hard to see stitch right next to the gap. Then once you reach the corner gaps, work 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets into the gap. Then repeat these steps for the rest of the row. For row 12, start the corner gap as normal, then chain 1 and skip the hard to see stitch. Work a double crochet into the next stitch and then chain 1. Work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, and repeat this until the next corner gap. Then work the corner gap normally. Repeat all these steps for the entirety of row 12. For row 13, start the corner gap as normal. You're then going to work a double crochet into every single stitch. For the areas with the chain gap from the previous row, work 1 double crochet into those gaps. Then in the next stitch, work another double crochet. Once you reach a corner section, work it as normal with 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. For row 14, work it the exact same as row 13, but instead with treble crochets. And row 15 is the same as row 13 with double crochets. For row 16, which is the last row, start a corner section as normal, then chain 1 and skip the next stitch. Work a double crochet into the stitch after that, then chain 1. This row is worked the same way as row 12. At the end of the row, slip stitch into the first stitch of the row, chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull to secure. Then the granny square is complete. The measurements came out to be 19 by 19 inches. You'll need to make 6 of these for the poncho. Once all 6 squares are complete, it's time to stitch them all together. To sew the squares together, first take 3 of the squares and place them like so, making sure the wrong sides are facing up. Then take a tapestry needle and a long piece of yarn and go through both loops in the corner of the first square. Then do the same on the second square. Pull the yarn through and continue to repeat this all the way up the seam. Once you reach the end, repeat the same thing to the other square until all 3 squares are connected. Once they're all connected, it should look like this. You're then going to turn the squares over with the right sides facing up and then place your last square onto the middle square with the wrong side facing up. Then fold the other 2 squares so that the sides are touching with the middle square and sew those together the same way as earlier. After, take the 2 squares and place the bottom one down with the right side facing up and then the top square with the wrong side facing up. Then sew them together from the bottom right to the top left, leaving out the other side. When it's sewed together, it should look like this. Now, take the hood, making sure the wrong sides are facing out, and use a stitch marker to connect the inner edge to the back of the body. You're then going to sew the hood onto the body all the way around, starting from the front edge the same way you've been sewing everything together. When it's all sewed together, it should look like this. Turn the poncho right side out, and then all it needs now is some extra details, which are optional, but I think doing these makes it look better. For a drawstring to keep the poncho on your shoulders, first chain 170, then weave the drawstring in and out on the top of the poncho. Now, I wanted to add flowers to the drawstring, so for the flowers, first create a magic circle, then add 5 single crochets into the magic circle. After, slip stitch into the first stitch of the row. Now in the same stitch, add 1 half double crochet, 3 double crochets, and then 1 more half double crochet. Then you're going to repeat this into every stitch until the end of the row. At the end of the row, slip stitch into the bottom here, chain 1, cut a tail, and pull to secure. To attach the flower to the drawstring, take a long tail from the flower and use a tapestry needle to push it through the end of the drawstring. Then weave the tail in the back of the flower. After, take the tail of the drawstring and weave that in as well. Weave in any other tails you have on the flower in the back, and then once they're secure, cut them and the flower will be attached. The last thing to add is tassels, which is optional. To do this, take whatever color you want and cut about 16-inch pieces of the yarn. I put together 4 to 6 different strands, and then took the middle of the strands and pulled it through the loop on the bottom of the poncho. I then took the loop and pulled the tails of the tassels and pulled it through, which secures it to the poncho. I did this in every other space around the entire poncho, and then the cherry blossom poncho was complete. This is how the poncho came out. It's really warm and I really love that I put the tassels on here as well. They were a bit tedious to put on. If you are going to make this, then you'll see what I mean. But this is literally perfect for spring, especially on spring nights where it's a bit chilly. This is what the hood looks like on. It's very big, and sometimes it'll slip off if you don't have it on a certain way, but I really like it though. If you want to make it a bit smaller, you can. You just have to make sure that it's wide enough to fit the little neck area part that you have to sew it onto. And also, I thought adding these little flowers to the bottom of the drawstrings was really cute too. But yeah, this is the poncho, and I hope you like it. For the granny square bag, the squares are made the exact same as the poncho, but only with rows 1 through 8. To attach the squares together, first lay one of them down with the wrong side up, and then the second one on top with the right side up. Then attach your hook to the left side of the top of the bag. Chain 2 and add 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. The chain counts as a half double crochet. In the next stitch, add a slip stitch. Then in the next stitch, do 3 half double crochets. You're going to repeat doing 1 slip stitch in one stitch, and then 3 half double crochets in the other until you reach the other side of the top of the bag. Once you finish the ruffle section, chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull to secure. For the handles, first attach your yarn to the stitch to the right of the ruffle, making sure it's in the stitch, not the gap. Then chain 90. Once your chain is done, slip stitch into the same stitch, but on the other side of the bag. Then slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, and begin working half double crochets down the chain. At the end of the chain, slip stitch into the side of the bag, then slip stitch into the next stitch. Turn your work and work half double crochets down the strap. Do this for a total of 3 times. After, slip stitch into the bag and then work 1 single crochet around the entire side of the bag, working up the handle as well until you reach the place you first started the single crochets. After, chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull to secure. For the other side, you're going to attach your yarn into any stitch and repeat working a single crochet border around the side of the bag as well as the handle. This just makes the handles a bit more secure. After, chain 1, cut the yarn and pull to secure. Weave in all your ends and your bag is complete. The second piece that I made with this exact same grid pattern is this little baggie here. You can put it over your shoulder or crossbody if you like, and I just wanted to see how it would look if I just changed it to blue, because originally I was going to do this as blue, but then I decided not to, and so I went with blue on this one instead and used my fuzzy yarn for the handles and the border around it, and it's really cute. Like, you can use this for the days where you don't want to have like a huge purse, you just want to throw your phone and wallet in here and call it a day, maybe some keys. And if you want to, of course, you can line it because there are some pretty big gaps in this bag. So just to make sure your things inside are secure and the bag doesn't get a little bit messed up by, say, your keys or something like that, it would be wise to just add a small little lining into it. But it is cute, it's very easy to do and simple, and you can make a whole bunch of color combinations with this. To make the tank top, the first thing you're going to do is chain the amount that reaches half of your waist length. For me, this is 50 chains. Half of my waist length is 12.5 inches, but if you can see, the chain stretches way past that. You want your chain to stretch at least 5 to 7 inches more than your waist length for it to fit comfortably. Next, you're going to begin your first row by working half double crochets down the entire row. Once you finish the last stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. For the next row and every row until after row 16, you're going to repeat working normal half double crochet rows. Here's the measurement after 2 rows just for reference. Once you get to row 17, you're going to work a half double crochet decrease into the first and second stitch. To do this, first yarn over, then insert your hook into the first stitch. Yarn over again and pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over and pull through, which makes 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and that's a decrease. After, work the rest of the row with normal half double crochets until the last 2 stitches. Once there are 2 stitches remaining, add a decrease into them. Then chain 1 and turn your work. You're going to repeat working decreases into the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches until row 25. On row 25 through 27, you're going to work regular half double crochet for every row. On row 28, work normal half double crochet for 8 stitches. Then decrease into the 9th and 10th stitch. After, chain 1, turn your work, and add a decrease into the first 2 stitches. Then work normal half double crochet down the row until the last 2 stitches. At the last 2 stitches, work a decrease into them. Then chain 1 and turn your work. On row 30, add a decrease into the first 2 stitches, then work the row normally. On row 31 to 33, work normal half double crochet rows. At the end of row 33, chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull to secure. For the second shoulder section, count down until the 10th stitch, then attach your yarn in the stitch and chain 1. In the same stitch, work a decrease into that and the next stitch. After, work the row normally. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn your work. You're going to work rows 29 through 33, the exact same as the first shoulder. Once that's done, the back panel is complete. For the front panel, it's going to be worked the exact same as the back panel until row 22. On row 22, count the stitches until you find the middle stitch, then add a stitch marker. Then count to the 5th stitch on each side of the stitch marker and mark those. Once that's done, you can begin your row by decreasing into the first 2 stitches. After, work down the row normally until the stitch before the stitch marker stitch. Once you get there, decrease into the last 2 stitches. Then you can remove the stitch marker. Chain 1 and turn your work. Decrease into the first 2 stitches. Then work the row normally into the last 2 stitches where you'll decrease into as well. Again, chain 1 and turn your work. For rows 24 to 27, only decrease on the inner side of the shoulder section. So start the row normally with half double crochets, and then in the last 2 stitches, add a decrease. Then for rows 28 to 33, work regular half double crochets. At the end of row 33, chain 1, cut a long tail of yarn and pull to secure. Attach your yarn to the 2nd stitch marker, work a decrease into that same stitch as well as the stitch next to it. Then work down the row normally into the last 2 stitches. Add a decrease into the last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn your work. For the rest of the second shoulder, repeat the steps for rows 23 through 33. Once that's complete, your front row is finished. To attach the 2 panels together, take one of the long tails and slip stitch the front and the back panel shoulders together. Then for the sides, attach your yarn where the decrease began and then slip stitch down to the bottom of the panel. Do this on both sides. Once everything is attached, weave in your ends on the wrong side of the project. Then turn it inside out and your tank top is complete. The last piece I have to show is this basic tank top. I've always wanted to make a crochet tank top because I wear a lot of tops like this, and this was the first time I actually figured out how to do it. It's a very simple and basic pattern, basic piece, but they can definitely become staples in your wardrobe, especially with like different color combinations that you can do. Like for this one, I just used a gradient yarn that I didn't have to switch colors or anything with, just so I can learn how to do the pattern exactly. But now that I have the base pattern for it, I can add stripes if I want to. I can use different types of stitchings, maybe add some borders or like ruffle borders on the sides and everything. And just having like this simple pattern, you can make a whole bunch of creative things. So I'm really happy that I ended up doing this for this video. And it's perfect for spring. You just throw on a little jacket or maybe like a button-up shirt or something like that and call it a day. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the pieces that I made for you all today. And with that said, I will see you in the next one. Bye!